All right, so we're back for another deep dive. And today we're going to be looking at a Reddit post that kind of just blew up and has everyone talking about like modern dating and all that stuff.
Yeah, it really touches on like a lot of anxieties that I think we all experience when like we're trying to figure out what the other person is thinking and what their intentions are.
Right, exactly. Like, are they thinking the same thing as me, or are they just,
Yeah.
Okay, so to set the scene, we have this woman, and she posted on the Ask Med Advice subreddit, and she's trying to figure out why this guy that she met at a bar, like, ghosted her.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a really good vibe. Like, they were flirting, and there was kissing and all that.
Yeah.
And then he even, like, invited her back to his place. But at first she said no.
Right. And it's important to note that she did eventually go home with him, which is, that's where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
They texted a little bit back and forth for a couple of days, and then all of a sudden he just goes silent for like a whole day.
Yeah. And she even, like, shared some of the texts that she sent him. And they were pretty playful. And even a little suggestive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she even, like, mentioned the bruises on her neck.
Oh, jeez.
So now she's like, did I come on too strong? Did I scare him away? Like, what happened?
What's interesting, like, she's not blaming him. She's just trying to understand, and that's where the Reddit community comes in. And a lot of people chimed in with their opinions.
Right. Some of them were pretty blunt.
Yeah.
Some people straight up told her that sleeping with him on the first night pretty much meant that she was just a hookup.
Right. And that's a common sentiment, but it's worth thinking about why that is. There's a lot of theories in evolutionary psychology that say that men are wired to, spread their seed. You know what I mean? While women tend to be more selective because they're the ones who get pregnant and have to raise the kids, but that doesn't make it right. It's just like trying to understand like why some guys might pull back after sex.
Okay, but isn't that kind of like a huge generalization?
Yeah.
I mean, tons of guys want real relationships, and some women are totally fine with just hooking up,
Right. Of course, these are just theories, and people are way more complicated than just instincts, right? And that's why this woman's perspective is so interesting. She's basically saying, like, just because I slept with him on the first date, that doesn't mean I don't want something serious.
Yeah, it's like she's like challenging these old ideas that like judge women way more than men.
Totally. And it makes you wonder if, like, maybe she's frustrated with dating apps and just wants something more old school.
Right, when she says old school, it sounds like she wants something more natural,
Mm-hmm.
like meeting someone through friends or like having things in common.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, think about it. Dating apps give you like way too many choices, and then you get stuck like comparing everyone and overthinking everything.
Yeah, and then it's like hard to actually connect with someone because you're just playing the game instead of actually building a relationship.
Exactly. It's like swiping and matching has replaced actually getting to know someone and seeing if you really click.
It reminds me of those guys in the comments who said they regretted walking away from great women just because they slept together early on. Like maybe they missed out on something real because they moved too fast.
That's definitely possible. And, sometimes men think sex equals emotional intimacy, but for a lot of women, it's like the opposite.
It's all about understanding those differences
Mm.
and just being honest about what you want.
Exactly. Communication is key always, especially when you're just getting to know each other.
So what about this guy? He finally texted her back,
Oh, really?
but her update is kind of a cliffhanger. She just wrote, he answered smiley face, but that doesn't mean much, right?
Yeah, that's so typical, isn't it? Even when they answer, it doesn't really tell you anything, and then you're left trying to figure out what those emojis mean and when they texted you and what their tone is like.
It's like we're all detectives now trying to figure out the secret code of this guy's message.
Totally.
So, like, what could it mean? Is he just being polite, or does he actually want to see her again?
I mean, he could just be checking to see if she's still interested. Or maybe he feels bad about ghosting her and wants to talk without actually explaining himself.
Which is probably why she said his answer doesn't really mean much. Like she's trying not to get her hopes up.
For sure. And it really shows how important it is to manage your expectations in modern dating. It's so easy to get caught up in the excitement, especially when there's a physical connection. But you have to remember, not every spark turns into a bonfire.
So how do you deal with all this uncertainty? Like, how do you stay open to something real, but also realistic about the fact that not everyone's going to be the one?
Yeah, I think the key is to approach dating with more curiosity and less expectation. Instead of worrying about the outcome, just see each date as a chance to learn about yourself and what you're really looking for.
I like that it's like shifting your focus from finding the one to just like exploring and seeing what happens.
Exactly. And remember, you're in control. You get to choose who you spend time with and what kind of behavior you'll put up with and when to just walk away.
It's kind of empowering. Like you have the power to create the dating experience that you want.
Totally. And sometimes the best lessons come from the relationships that don't work out, because they teach you about your needs and your boundaries and what you really value in a partner.
That's so true. Well, this whole deep dive has been super insightful. We talked about like societal expectations and evolutionary psychology and even like how to communicate in the digital age.
Yeah, it's been really fascinating, and I hope everyone listening learned something about modern dating.
And if you want to hear more conversations like this one, be sure to subscribe to Shauna Pelage's YouTube channel and check out her podcast, Voices of the Soul. She has so much great content about relationships and personal growth and just like figuring out life.
And if you liked this deep dive, give us a like and share it with your friends. Let's keep talking about healthy relationships and dating with intention.
Absolutely. And until next time, remember to approach dating with curiosity, be honest about what you need, and always put yourself first.